Hey, welcome to Sports Map Houston. I'm Brandon Strange, in for Vanessa Richardson. I'm joined by her co-host, Paul Gallant. You can hear them both on Vanessa and Gallant weekdays, 10 a.m. to noon on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5, or watch them on Twitch at twitch.tv, ESPN 97.5. Make sure you subscribe to Polly's channel on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this one and hit like on the video if you love Houston sports so you get more of our content. Hey, Polly, welcome in. In probably the least surprising news of the NBA offseason, Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets have hit an impasse, according to Shams Charania of The Athletic. Short story is this. Kyrie wants the max. Brooklyn's not feeling it. Kyrie has a player option, could essentially walk. Now, where this obviously matters for Rockets fans is that Houston owns 7 years of picks and swaps from Brooklyn that came back in the Harden trade. In the NBA, they say that the team that got the superstar won the trade. But looking at how this played out for the Nets, did Houston actually win the James Harden trade?
It's a great question, Brandon, because with the way things are going now, yeah, you lost out on a generational talent. Yeah, your team is now probably for the next couple of years going to be hoping to get the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. In fact, they might be setting themselves up just to put themselves in that arena. But man, you would think that a team like Brooklyn, who in the past has traded a lot of draft picks away to get guys that maybe weren't what they were, would have thought about that past before making the move that they did to bring in Kyrie Irving. And yet here they are right now. And yeah, it looks really good for Houston. That's at least one good thing that you could say about the Rockets right now. And hey, we'll see if any of these draft picks that they now have in the near future can be someone who can team up with Jalen Green. Man, you would have thought, and I think when we all saw this trade happen, Brandon, we thought, hey, this is a team with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. They will do at the very least something, right? Whether it was injuries or Kyrie Irving just being Kyrie Irving, to see that it has just already essentially gone up in flames not long into all of these draft picks that the Rockets were traded, it's really mind-numbing.
It's weird, right? Because I think it didn't take a rocket scientist to look at these volatile personalities and predict that something bad could happen. It could melt down. But I think your point's a good one. It's the time frame. It's the fact that Harden didn't make it to the end of last year, that he was already on another team. And what Brooklyn got back for him was an even bigger question mark in Ben Simmons. And so I just think that's what's the most mind-boggling thing of all of it is not that it melted down. I think, again, like looking at the personalities involved, I don't think it takes Nostradamus to have predicted it. But to come to fruition this soon is amazing. If Brooklyn had to do it all over again, do you think they make that trade again?
They shouldn't have, Brandon. The writing was on the wall about how difficult Kyrie Irving was with Boston, and that Boston, the Celtics, were, as I would say, very tight-lipped about what went down there when they said goodbye to him is, I think, done because they're hoping that, of course, they're not going to hurt themselves in free agency going forward. But all the talk was that it was just such a pain. Only a select few people in all of basketball probably think to themselves right now, even if they think Kyrie Irving is a phenomenal talent, that they'd want to play with him. The problem was Kevin Durant just happened to be one of those guys, and it didn't really matter what the Nets thought of themselves as an organization. But they should have seen this coming. And here they are now stuck with a player who is, we'll see, potentially going to be on the team next year. Probably not. Doesn't look like that's very promising at this point in time. The Rockets got lucky. And you know what? Considering the way things went with the entire James Harden situation, it's nice to get at least something back in a way of, I guess, karmic justice.
Yeah, I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm gonna pose this to you anyway. But considering the fact that Brooklyn was willing to take a chance on Kyrie Irving, and we're willing to take a chance on teaming up James Harden and putting him in that mix, Houston has a big expiring contract sitting on their bench. Anyway, Brooklyn and Houston swap problem children, Wall for Irving. And you see that happening?
No. Look, I'm saying this now, and I'll keep on saying it. I was happy when the Rockets traded Christian Wood away. I want to see Kevin Porter Jr. on another team too. I want the best possible possible influences for Jalen Green that I can possibly have. I don't want Kyrie Irving here. I don't want John Wall. I know John Wall's not really on the team, but he's here. No, we can't have that happen, Brandon. No.
I'm playing. So last follow-up here is, Houston sports fans have had a tough time over the past couple of years. You mentioned karmic justice and the Harden thing, but it's not just the Rockets. Cornerstone players from both the Rockets and the Texans have forced their way out. And in both cases, it looks like the draft capital that came back will be more valuable than originally anticipated. We'll have to see how the Watson thing plays out, and we'll have to see how the Kyrie thing plays out, honestly. But it looks good in both cases. Can Houston fans take a little solace in some of that karmic justice from the sports gods?
It's deserved. Yeah, it's been rough. For the Rockets, especially considering how much they bent over backwards to accommodate James Harden, only to have him say, yeah, I'm done here. And the Deshaun Watson thing too, which is just an unbelievably crazy story. And we are at least seeing it from this weekend, rumors that a season-long suspension could be potentially happening. If the Browns don't have Deshaun Watson all year, that draft pick could be very, very high. We could be talking about something in the top 12, top 10, or something like that. Cleveland does have talent. So, yeah, I'm thankful that even though these situations are all very uncomfortable to talk about and look at from the outside looking in, there is one silver lining that as far as Houston draft picks in the future, they will be better. So, hooray!
Well, in both cases with the Rockets and Texans, the GMs had to make calculated decisions in their trades. And so far, it's played out in their favor, at least from the things that they can't control. Now it's time to, convey those draft picks into something valuable. We'll see how that plays out. And when that does, we'll talk about it here. Paul, appreciate the time.
Thanks, Brandon.